Alright guys, welcome back to another video, and we're picking this one up where we left off last video with Attuma ordering the servo bot to attack Atlantis and destroy Namor. If you've seen the last video, then you know things are just heating up, and if you haven't, well I recommend you go check it out. But without further ado, let's dive into this. Attuma proudly witnesses the servo bot's march to the destruction of Atlantis and states that after his triumph there, he will be master of all the world beneath the seas, with the surface world next on his list. We then see the servo bot bang, then smash through the walls of Atlantis, sending its people into a hopeless panic. Switching scenes to Namor, who is also within Atlantis' walls, bears witness to the destruction the servo robot is causing to his land and people. He also then comes to the understanding that Attuma couldn't have created the servo bot and that its origins are likely from elsewhere. Lord Frashati then tells Namor that it matters not where it came from but the destruction it now causes, and that nothing can halt its rampaging destruction. To which Namor agrees, then orders Lord Frashati to evacuate his people from the city while he will stand back and fight. With the palace guards still fighting the servo robot, Namor tells Lord Frashati to order them to retreat and help escort his people to evacuation. Ready to go to battle with the rampaging robot, Lord Frashati warns him that he will be alone and unarmed in his fight and that he must not sacrifice himself in vain. But Namor reminds him that his life belongs to his people in the eternal realm and that he will do what he must do. But before he goes, he leaves Lord Frashati with his final word, which is to guard Lady Dorma and that he places her in his trust. Now flying off to battle, Lord Frashati warns Namor that Lady Dorma will never abandon him, but his words fall on deaf ears as Namor is already in flight and ready for battle. Charging forward, Namor notices his royal guard has sent one final attack at the servo robot that doesn't even scratch it. The robot then turns his attention to Namor with his disintegrator beams, but Namor swiftly dodges the attack while also managing to pull off the most zesty pose we'll see all video. Charging back in an attempt to attack, Namor notices that the servo bot can change its temperature with just a split-second thought and realizes that his strength may not be the answer. He then signals some nearby sharks to swarm and attack it, knowing that they are powerless against it, but uses them to buy the people of Atlantis some time to evacuate. Cutting back to Attuma, we see he has now ordered that Namor surrender in order to save Atlantis from its current destruction. But then, just like the Frashati had warned earlier that Lady Dorma wouldn't leave Namor's side, she pops up right next to him and encourages him not to yield. Obviously confused and upset, Namor tells her that she was ordered to flee, but then suddenly comes to the conclusion that she could be of great use and sends her to retrieve her camera from his imperial chambers. And although confused why, she does. Still looking to delay the servo bot, Namor orders what seems to be I don't know, Moby Dick to attack the robot. With the servo bot seemingly trapped in its mouth, Namor now orders Moby to quickly take the servo bot to the far distant corners of the sea. But before Moby can firmly close his mouth, the servo bot lifts its jaw open and frees itself. But hope is not lost yet as Namor sees Lady Dorma in the distance with the camera he sent for her to get. Sending her off on a mission unknown to us, Namor orders some weak-ass octopus to try and restrain the servo bot to buy a few minutes for his secret plan, but of course the servo bot frees himself again, leaving Namor to have to handle it himself. Now landing blow after blow, strike after strike, the servo bot eats it like Thanksgiving dinner before reaching its arm out to squeeze and ultimately squish Namor to death. But just before it can accomplish that goal, it suddenly releases him before getting sealed in some gigantic cylinder cone, which seems to be a part of Namor's plan. With the servo bot now sealed, it gets pulled up to the surface. Then we quickly see in the last panel that the aliens who accidentally dropped it in the ocean in the last video have come to retrieve it. Namor then starts flexing how the pieces have been linked and the puzzles have been solved, while Lady Dorma asks the question we're all thinking. How did Namor link the pieces and solve the puzzles, and what was the point of the damn camera? Returning to Atlantis, Namor finally explains to Lady Dorma how he came to the conclusion that Attuma couldn't have had the knowledge to create the servo bot but only to control it, which still to me is crazy how he rewired an alien robot to follow his orders. But anyway, Namor thought since he didn't create it, he had to come from another world, so he summarized if his image could be projected, which I guess the camera was supposed to be used for, the aliens would notice and come retrieve it. Now back at Atlantis, Namor watches as Attuma flees without the help of the servo bot, leaving Atlantis safe and Attuma defeated once again. And that wraps that up with this story and issue. I'm not gonna lie, I was hoping for a bit more. I don't know why Attuma didn't take the chance to just, I don't know, maybe fight Namor with the servo bot instead of just letting the robot do all the work. Maybe then he could have stopped Namor's plan somehow. But I guess this is what happens when you copy someone else's homework with no real plan of your own. Anyway, onto the rating. I'm giving this one a 4.8 as well. It didn't really do anything different for me than what the last issue did, and honestly, this could have just been a part of the first issue. There was no need for 2 parts. Atuma really made no sense this issue. He could have done more than just sit there while the robot did all the work, even order his goons to attack with the robot. I don't know, maybe he'll come back smarter next time, but that's all the time we have for this video. Keep doing what you love doing, stay hydrated, and be true to yourself. Peace.
That's not water, it's alcohol.